Okay guys, it's that time of year. Let's do the compost. Okay, so this is the good stuff down the bottom, as you can see. Lovely and crumbly, perfect compost. But how do we achieve it? Well, we need to turn it to get some air in. It's a mixture of greens and browns, which I'll go through later. But that's what we want. So we need to now turn this compost, middle of August. Let's get it done. Any big bits we don't want. These bits, nope. Far too big. Nope. Too big. Okay, so now that's nicely turned over. Some of these large chunks we need to cut up into smaller ones, get them back on. Branches like this. Chop them up, inch long. And it'll compost down nicely. Okay. Bits and bobs. Things like this. It's an old kale. We can either chop it with a spade, try and snap it maybe. Smaller the better. As you can see, this is where the magic happens as we look through towards the bottom of the compost. It's nice and warm down there. The hotter the better, really, and that will all be down to the mix on how you mix your compost, which we'll go through in a minute. But first of all, take a look at the life. See, it's teeming, loads of ants, you name it, it's pretty much in there. Earthworms, white worms, bacteria, mold, fungi, all doing a job, and that's to get you the best compost in the world. So this is how we do it, and this is the ratios you need to be looking at. So what we're looking for is 50% greens and 50% browns. Okay, you can put cardboard in, that is a brown, and also wood chip. Right, okay, so fairly simple really. 50-50, that's what you want. 50% greens, just like this. If you are putting grass, big long weedy grass, make sure the roots are off it. Don't want those going in, especially if it's bindweed. Brown is any twig, wood material, dead branches for example, they'll go in, so 50-50 ratio. If you need to top up with the browns, I suggest using either cardboard full of carbon or wood chip. It's a great source of brown, so you can sprinkle that over the top, and you want to layer it, so a layer of green, layer of brown, layer of green, and you're good to go. Your browns, you need to cut them small, else they won't compost down. So for example, like this, a twig like this, you need to cut it into 1 inch. Pick the hardest tree in the world. 1 inch sections like that. Okay, here's one I made earlier. Boom. Keep chopping it down into the compost. I know we're all lazy, but if you're turning it over, get all the big branches out and now chop them down. Okay, there you go, that'll compost down beautiful. Things like weeds, you can compost them, just make sure they've got no seed heads on. Okay, so pop the seed heads off. That'll go with your greens. Another one, seed heads off, that'll go with your greens. And again, different style of weed, still a weed. Seed heads off. I'll take the roots off as well. That'll go with greens. And that's it. So to recap, 50-50, green material, brown material. If you're struggling on the brown, wood chip, cardboard, whatever you've got really. And you can add your food to it if you wish. On the allotment, probably not. You may get an issue with rats if you are adding lots of food waste there. So if we just stick with the greens and browns like on here, make fantastic compost. So it's what you want, nice and easy to do. Remember to turn it over if you can. Well, you need to turn it over, not if you can or not. Turn it over regular, get some more air into it, and before you know it, you've got lovely compost. So give it a go. Okay, so another thing you should look out for is if you're putting too much green material on the compost heap, it may turn into a mushy green goo. It's what you want to avoid at all costs. So make sure, layer it as you go. Like I said, if you haven't got any wood or brown material to hand, use a bit of cardboard in between it and it'll solve that problem. Okay, so now the door's on. It's not going to get wet from the sides at all. It is straight onto the ground. And what I do, I put a sheet of plastic over the top. In adverse weather, so a lot of rain, I'll sheet the top. And I'll show you how that's done. So it's important to cover the compost heap up. That's what we do with this lid here. Just simply a piece of plastic nailed to the back, but we can have it halfway. There you go. Or it's going to rain a lot, winter time maybe. What we do, simply put a plastic over there like that. Keeps it nice and dry. Don't let it dry out too much. Just give it a water, or take the top back up, and you're good to go. Guys, don't forget to like, share, and please subscribe. I need all the help I can get. Let's grow this channel.